What simple life hack should everyone know? Get into a routine of stretching your hip flexors and chest if you sit for long periods. Absolute game changer for people who suffer with chronic lower back pain as a result of being hunched over a desk. A why suggested stretches. 5 minutes of daily exercise is infinitely better than 0 minutes and will make a big difference. Even walking. Most of the time keeping your mouth shut is a great option. My dad used to say that you've missed a wonderful opportunity to remain silent. No matter how good a person you are, at some point you will be the bad guy in someone else's story. You can't please everyone, and you shouldn't try to be a good person and have friendships with people you can respect and look up to. Sometimes you're the bad guy because you're trying to be a good person. Like when your best friend of 15 years asks you to do something against your moral compass and you say no, and they end the friendship and write a book about it, and you have to be okay with that. R/oddly specific. If there's a jar or container you can't open, run the lid under hot water for 30 seconds. Dry it so you can get a good grip, then open. Never had this not work. Some pretty good stuff on here. Just beat it on the counter. The jar. I meant the jar. Too late. Now my counter is all sticky. Anybody got any tips for that? Edit. Thanks for the wholesome award. You sick bastard. Don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. Edit. You've taken my advice. Take my criticism. Reddit awards are dumb. You should support a local brewery instead. Learned this the hard way. Year and years of listening to negative people's negative opinions and let it affect what I thought I could do. Got away from that and feels great. I saw this elsewhere on Reddit almost a year ago and it actually kicked off a ton of positive changes in my life. I had to post it because it transformed my life quite a lot. Got out of some toxic friendships and freed up so much time and space in my brain. I felt like a huge weight was lifted off me and I've been happier. Sleeping better. I feel closer to my wife. I smile way more. I enjoy my hobbies more. It's been wonderful cutting off toxic people. If you have trouble choosing, flip a coin. While you're waiting to get the result, your mind automatically starts to wish for what it wants. Then you can choose easily. I've been doing this for big life decisions for years. Sometimes I don't realize what I want, but instead realize it doesn't matter and I just go with the flip result. If you put something down temporarily, say out loud I've put the screwdriver by the microwave, or whatever. This engages many more areas of the brain, particularly the language centers, which creates a richer memory making it less likely you'll forget where you put it. In a similar vein, I will say it out loud when I turn stove burners off, unplugged my hair straightener etc. I found this helps me eliminate those moments where I leave the house or am in bed and am suddenly like, did I leave that on? My wife and I made this a ritual due to her OCD. Anytime we are going out, I'll say to her, hey, I unplugged the iron. Saying it in a funny voice helps too, because it's easier to remember that Shrek told her the iron was off. Brush your teeth more thoroughly before bed, after you are done eating and drinking for the day. Morning brushing is important too, but more so for fresh breath, while evening cleaning will prevent bacteria from breeding and damaging your teeth and gums. I brush my teeth every day with an electric toothbrush. I have been doing that for the past 3 years at least. I'm 21. But despite that, my teeth are still a bit yellow and it's annoying. I have some friends who have very white teeth, and they told me they didn't whiten them. Am I doing something wrong? Should I stop drinking coffee? Is it just genetics? Nah man, you're fine. Well, some people have whiter teeth than other. It's normal to have slightly yellow teeth. Train yourself to always keep an eye out for things that need to go in the direction you are going. If you are about to go downstairs, does any item nearby need to go with you? Perhaps a cup can be brought to the sink on your way to the bathroom. I always have to remind myself to do that. It's just not something we were taught as kids, but it does backfire when I get up to get a drink. Remember to take the plate with me back to the kitchen. Promptly put it in the dishwasher and go sit back down again, only to remember I never got the drink, which was the whole purpose of standing up. Gets my steps in at least. Not necessarily a hack per SE, but learn some basic knife skills. The amount of time you will save chopping vegetables a few times a week, minimum, for the rest of your life far outweighs the amount of time it takes to learn. Plus you can use the extra time to keep the kitchen clean, and that makes everything less stressful while you're cooking, and makes the cleanup faster as well. Tell that to my GF who insists that a butter knife can be used to cut anything. Squash tomatoes suck. Who fun-friended? Most of life is just showing up to things. Not this year it isn't. Google it first. If you want to wear something white light in color, wear underwear that matches the color of your skin, not white. Or light gray. It hides better under white than white does. Same principle works for your primer coat before you paint your walls. If you have a bright or intense color that you want to paint, using a gray primer will help your paint cover better than going over white primer. Source: Sherwin-Williams Manager. Sometimes changing your pillowcase daily can help with acne. I use a clean t-shirt over my pillow to accomplish the same effect. I usually put a clean towel on my pillow and sleep on it. That way I don't have to change the pillowcase often and can put the new towel on and wash the used one. I have like 10 cases and switch them every day. Helps a lot. Turn your bed mattress when you renew your blanket. Through time your mattress will deform, and that can make you sleep worse. Edit: some mattresses have a specific side and top that they need to be. Thanks for pointing that out you/shaved ape. Some mattresses shouldn't be turned. Check the directions when you buy it. But if it needs it, this tip is brilliant. You can still rotate those feet to head. It helps a lot. Honey does not go bad. If it has gone solid it has just crystallized and can become liquid again with just a little heat. Put the container of solidified honey in a container of hot water. Put it in the microwave once. It worked but made the bottle bed depressed. To confirm which circuit breaker is associated to an outlet, plug in an old radio and turn the volume up before you flip the circuit breaker. You can also do this with a vacuum if you are like me and don't have a radio or hair dryer. If you ever fall off a ship/ferry at sea and were lucky enough to be spotted, don't try to swim your way to safety. The more you try to swim, the lesser the chances of survival. Just try to keep afloat and conserve energy and body heat while rescue team do what they're supposed to, unless you are in hypothermic waters. The best bet always is to stay afloat without trying to swim to somewhere. This information about falling overboard, hypothermia and conditions, survival at sea etc. are based on my own experience of 12 years sailing on merchant ships, like this link. B/y_toast3xmo. PS. Link will take you to a time-lapse video I made when crossing/sailing under the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, USA. This kind of ship is called a container ship. I was also told trying to swim towards the ship will just result in you being sucked into the screw, and if you're being rescued the ship will turn the stern away from you for that reason. I read sucked into the crew and assumed this is how people normally join the merchant navy. Read the 3 and 4-star reviews for the most reliable information on Amazon items. And 2-star reviews for books. Seeing what people dislike tells much. Try on your favorite to see. UPD. To clarify, the idea here is that people writing 2-star reviews project their views and values when arguing that the book is bad for them. And when their views are opposite to yours, it may suggest that you might actually enjoy the book. Let's say you are into reading mind-stimulating philosophy book, and a person writes something like "This is boring. The writing is too complex. Ideas are difficult to follow. The language is too intricate. Quit reading after 20 pages." It may mean that it is what you look for. Whenever you have a time to be somewhere, aim to be there 15 minutes early to allow for time snags or for traffic. People respect punctuality. On time every time. Better yet ahead of time. Can always dick around on your phone for the difference. If you bring something to someone's house that you don't want to forget, put your keys with it, assuming you can trust the people there. Also, get a tile or similar Bluetooth device so you never lose your keys or phone again. Tiles are game changers. Just remember to put a clap finder on the remote that finds tiles. The phone is the finder, and to find the phone, just double click the button on the tile. I have like 4 tiles, so if I can't find one of them, first I use one of the other tiles to find my phone, then I use the phone to find the missing tile. It's amazing. If you have a spare minute, or are just playing video games, or on a computer at home, take a few minutes to just pet your dog, cat and really appreciate them. A phrase I heard somewhere just really stuck with me. Pets are only a part of your life, but you are your pet's entire life. Duck, where is my dog? Remember to say out loud, wherever you put your dog. You will often have to make decisions in life without being able to know all the information related to the choices. Being able to identify what you don't know is invaluable. It allows you to make assumptions and contingency plans. If those assumptions fail, I want to slap every person that quips. If you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. You cannot function in life without making assumptions. The trick is to identify them as such, so that you can be better prepared when they are resolved. It sounds crazy, but talking to yourself helps in these scenarios too. Use yourself as a sounding board. Just hearing the thoughts out loud can add a new perspective, and in having the conversation with yourself, you need to think about what you want to say and why, and therefore you're opening yourself up to think about it in different ways. Or maybe I'm just nuts and talk to myself a lot. I've heard this referred to as the rubber duck principle. I guess some folks think it's less crazy to talk to a rubber duck than to talk to yourself. In my work, software engineering, it's a pretty common practice to borrow someone just to sit there and listen to a thought. They usually don't need to even provide feedback, and are sometimes just replaced with inanimate objects, like a rubber duck. But yeah, there's just something about forcing thoughts into verbal statements that often provides the clarity that is needed. When moving house, always set up your bedroom / make the bed first, so when you're exhausted and just had enough you can fall into bed. Nothing worse than being exhausted and having to make the bed before getting into it. Edit. Good grief. That blew up. Thank you for the awards. Edit 2. To all the grammar Nazis, I apologize profusely for using year instead of year. I don't always proofread as well as I should, but please, get a grip. It's a typo, not axe murder. Also, if you have time, plan where do you want the furniture / boxes of your stuff in the house. Placing it in the right room straight away helps a lot. What I found very helpful is labeling each box with the contents and the room I want to put it in. I bought a roll of like 500 large name tags stickered, so that they'll stick on anything. You don't have to be specific if you don't want to. Just using broad categories like books or dishes works too. I also moved all the stuff we've been storing, but haven't used from boxes into plastic storage tubs. That way I can keep them in there when we move / I'll know that the cardboard boxes are all stuff I want to unpack. Manners and general politeness will get you far and become the norm with but a small amount of practice. I'm not talking overboard laddie, but a simple please and thank you with a genuine smile. Manners and general politeness will get you far. I'll add to this. Be especially nice to receptionists. They are the gatekeepers. Whether you're there to interview for a job or attempt to sell something to the owners, if you are rude to the receptionist, you can kiss your chances goodbye. This applies doubly over the phone, where body language and facial expressions are non-existent. Make sure your tone isn't condescending, or else your message is going in the trash if it isn't mission critical. Source: I'm a receptionist. Interviewers always stop by my desk to get my seal of approval before moving forward in the hiring process. I have vetoed individuals for being rude / snobby, and once for leaving a mess in the bathroom. My vote counts. Edit. Since this is getting attention, I'll use this opportunity for a cheesy seg. Your vote counts. To register to vote. Link. Gov. Also, thanks for the gold. Just something to add to this. If you really wanna get on the good side of a receptionist or clerk, etc., bring them food. Especially something like baked goods, dessert, candy. My mom taught me this. She was one of the biggest people person types I've ever known. Pretty much everyone she ever met absolutely loved her. She told me people in an office will never turn down free food, especially women. According to her, bonus points if you bring enough that can be shared with other office workers. It not only makes the person you are giving it to happy, but it makes them, in turn, look good and popular among their co-workers, which makes you look even better as well. I use this advice at my old job and I must say it absolutely works like a charm. I had to interact with clerks and receptionists quite frequently, and I would generally bring boxes of donuts, cookies, muffins, cupcakes or something like a cake, pie or cobbler. On special occasions like Christmas, my mom would even make homemade candies or baked goods for me to take. I can't tell you how much this improves relations with these people, especially if you deal with them frequently. They grew to absolutely love me and would bend over backwards whenever I needed something. I would say the only potential downside is that if you bring these types of things, after a certain point, it can sort of become an expectation. So make sure you're willing to keep it up and spend the effort/money, but it can definitely be worth it in the long run, and it's frankly just a nice gesture that will really brighten someone's day. Buy things you can't afford. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.